No take backs.
All right, audio's on too.
How does it look?
Yeah, so once you zip it up, then you can. I think it was like hanging off the side last time.
All right. Does it sound good?
Yeah, I checked the sound check earlier.
All right.
Oh, you have like some kind of clothing? Yeah, you're wearing a shirt.
Yeah,
more than different.
It's in the shot.
More than different.
Scott, are you like the shot? Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, you want me in a little closer at all?
If Colin, can you just push this down? There you go. Perfect. All right, how we doing?
Yeah, just good. Colin, talking to your mic.
Hello? Testing.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Check 1 2.
We good?
Yeah.
All right. So, what was that number again, Colin?
78 and 18.
There you go. All right, are we ready? I think we better start going because we're actually whether we're ready or not, we're here. All right. So, good evening and welcome to Studio Z. And the COO is gonna try not to get on camera and turn the lights on. And we are off to a rousing start. There you go, COO. Outstanding. My name is Scott Zwick, and I'm alongside Colin McNamara, one of the most decorated winners in Arlington High School history. We are lucky and proud to have you here for our first live broadcast. Welcome, Colin.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
All right. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk to Colin for a little bit. We're going to learn about his More Than Different brand, and we're going to kind of chronicle, through the years and how Colin's gotten from point A to point B. And point B right now is junior year, finishing up his junior year at WPI. So, Colin, I know we go way back. I'm familiar with your high school days at Arlington, but why don't we go a little bit further before that? And when did you get involved in basketball? What age was it? And who were the people that kind of got your juices flowing in the game?
We go way back. I bet before I can even remember, my dad and my parents were putting basketballs in my hand. Growing up, my dad was a baseball player in college and everything. So I was playing baseball and basketball. I play every sport, basically, soccer and everything. But it wasn't until probably like 5, 6, 7 where we put like mini hoops around our house everywhere. So I'd be, shooting hoops and like right next to my door in my bedroom. Right?
Yeah.
And then we'd have like little Nerf hoops in our backyard. But I'd just be dribbling around. So it'd just be nonstop basketball. And then probably around 6th, 7th grade, I decided to realize that I value basketball more than baseball. Growing up, I was more of a baseball guy, but basketball just kind of came to me, and I loved it more.
Now, when you say you loved it more, so that was always in your heart, you think, or did it? Was there something that happened to make it kind of pop to the front and center?
I think it's just a quicker sport. I love dribbling the ball when I was growing up. There's no better feeling than, crossing over and making somebody go the other way,
Yeah.
So, I kind of fell in love with it that way, and just seeing the ball go through every aspect of the game, basically, growing up, I loved it.
I think one of the things that I really love is that everybody has a game, right? A game. And the game matches your personality. What other sport has that, right? Somebody, he said this guy's he's a little bit aggressive and hostile. Well, this game's going to match that, right? And your game matches you. Yeah. It's free flowing and fluid. And so speaking of free flowing and fluid, so now you flow into the high school years, and you have a success right away, but it's not playing. At least at the varsity level, so you kind of were forced to sit back your freshman year and watch a little bit more than you played, right? What was that experience like your freshman year?
Yeah, I was in a unique situation because the class that I was in, that I grew up playing with, there wasn't that many players in my class that were primarily basketball players.
Okay.
It was always their secondary sport, so when I made varsity, I was the only freshman on the team, and it was juniors, seniors, and myself.
Right.
So it was kind of, I mean, I came in with confidence because growing up playing in rec leagues and all that, you know, I was always, you know, one of the better kids on the court, and so I was always doing my thing. So I grew a lot of confidence out of that. And then it was kind of a reality check when I got to high school, right? Because you realize that the defenders are a lot better, a lot more physical. Because in practice, I'm going up against seniors and juniors every day.
Right.
And not to mention they're really good. I mean, I was played against probably one of the best, one of the, if not the best class Arlington High's ever had in that junior class when I was a freshman.
And so who are some of the players in that junior class?
So you had Miles Robinson, Josh Lee, Frank Roach, Gabe Adams-King.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go on about the whole class. Emmett Rojo.
And how did they were they accepting of you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my sister, growing up, my sister went to like the local middle school,
right?
And she was in the same grade as that class before she transferred to a private school. So like growing up, I knew of them just through my sister. And then when I got to high school, they just kind of took me under their wing.
Okay.
And showed me the way. So even when I wasn't playing, I'd just always be, you know, battling with them in practice and stuff. And like, yeah, it was a great experience knowing that those guys, you know, were the leaders on the team, and they knew what they were doing. They've been playing with each other forever, and I you know, I was just the role player. I was, you know, the young guy just sitting back and learning basically at that time.
Now, how so you're saying, you know, obviously the team had a lot of success. You went to the Songus Arena. I mean, it's a great team, but you're presenting a positive experience. You know, there's a lot of players, right, that have that same experience and walk away with a negative. Was it mostly the relationships on the team and the coaching staff that kind of made it positive?
Yeah, I mean, throughout the time playing, at the time, you could probably say that sometimes I, you know, come home with a negative attitude that I wasn't playing like I thought I could have.
Right.
But looking back at it, you realize that, maybe if I play with a little more confidence, maybe if I didn't worry so much about making a small turnover or something, or you play a little more freely and you play more of your game to your potential, you realize that the coaches would play you more. But you, as a freshman, I guess I was tentative. I was scared looking back at it.
You don't have experience.
Yeah, you don't have experience. And you know, growing up, I didn't have, when you get hit with transitioning from middle school to high school and there's a gap in that competition and it hits you and you don't respond well to it, it kind of trumps your confidence. And so I think that's what happened. And so I was frustrated about that. But looking back at it, you know, you realize why things went the way they went throughout the year. So.
Yeah. And those, you know, when you talk, those are make or break moments, right? Yeah. Those are like, you know, what am I doing here, right? Am I going forward, right? Or am I going to cut? You know, it's not necessarily make or break, but they're big moments or am I going to retreat back and then kind of say maybe this isn't for me, maybe another level's, you know, is for you. So now we're going to move forward now, and now. So, you know, you really start to take on a lot of responsibility. It's junior year. You know, the team has had a ton of success, freshman and sophomore year. You know, am I having that right? It's junior when we're really taking on a heavy load. So, at that time when you're taking the, you know, you're starting to take on the, do you feel ready for that?
Definitely. I mean, because if you think about it, my freshman and sophomore year, I was still the only sophomore or one of the two sophomores on the team, right? So then we graduated about 9 or 10 rotation guys.
And you're ready to go, baby.
Year, so I'm going into my junior year thinking like I got the keys. Like I don't need to think about it twice when I'm in the game. Like whether I need to take a shot, whether I should go by this guy, whether I should make a play or not. So, I mean, I think that helped me out just knowing that like. If I don't play my game, then, you know, guys are looking to me to do my thing. I shouldn't be looking at anybody else. You know what I mean? So, I was like, I became the motor at that point. Yeah. Right away. You know, I didn't ease into it, and that's what I wanted because that's how it was for me growing up.
So now the question from me is, so that's when you start to display your extraordinary ability to perform under pressure. It was my favorite. It's my favorite thing to watch you. I marvel at players that could do that. That was not my lane, performing under pressure. Okay, I could perform aggressively all the time, right?
Yeah.
And that I was not one of those guys. So I'm over there, But when it was under pressure, it was really pressure. That was just not my lane. But it was your lane. Did you always know that?
I think. See, that's the thing. I think it comes with. I don't think just when the time comes, you're like, give me the ball, I'm gonna make a play. I think it develops in the times where people don't see, when the lights aren't on. You know what I mean? When you're working, like the time you put in, like you can't cheat that. Because all the time you put in, that builds confidence. That builds your want for the moment.
Right.
That builds a clutch gene, right? So when you get the ball in those times and you make the same move you've been making 1,000 times, I feel like it comes. You don't think twice about it. It's just like you're doing cone drills, stuff like that.
So you would put that work in, and who motivated you to put the extra work in? Was that all you in your heart, or were there other people saying like, this is what I think you got to do?
I think it's nice growing up in a very competitive household. Right, so my sister was growing up. She was like a 3, 4, 5 sport athlete.
Right.
In middle school and stuff. High school, she's a 3-sport athlete. So she was always the best basketball player in our household until
So those are big shoes to fill.
I got in my teens and all that. So it was always a competition. And then as I grew up, my brother was always coming along. And then throughout the town, I mean, Arlington's known to be a very hockey town.
Yes.
Right, but when I was growing up and getting into high school, you go to the local Arlington Boys and Girls Club, and you have all the older kids, playing pickup, and it was very, I was getting to the point where I could play with them, right? So I'd be trying to get better so I could play on that side of the court with them and play pickup with the older kids, and kind of, the people that I watched when I was in like elementary school, middle school at Arlington High, like David Shin and all that, and so in that class, and so I think playing against and just having the community of Arlington, just like everybody, if you're not going to shoot around and work out, other people are, right? So it was that mindset, because I knew all my teammates. It wasn't like it was their second sport; it was always their primary sport, and I know all my teammates and friends growing up had love for the game, so. I mean, if I went to a friend's house, we were going into his backyard to shoot. If I was going out to hang out with people, it was to go play basketball and hang out. You know what I mean? It was always something to do with basketball growing up. So I feel like just growing up, the friends that I was with and the people that I was around, it was just always basketball.
Okay.
And if it wasn't on the court, it was like video games, 2K. It was basketball nonstop, and I think that's what kind of got ingrained the work in me.
Well, so I'm not sure if you know how far back I go. I was coaching football and basketball at Arlington High in '96. Well, '96 was basketball, and then '98 was football. So, one of the reasons that I felt most proud and connected to your team was that I thought that when it was going on, that culture shift you talked about from hockey to when I started with Mike Broderick in '98, I mean, we were the sisters of the poor in the school. We weren't bad. As a matter of fact, we were good. We were really good really early, but we were not the respected team, right? This was you think it's a hockey town now. I mean, it was a hockey town, right? Yeah. I mean, we had dudes, we had good players start in our program, good players, and the hockey team say, you know what? We need a fourth line defender. Get the star basketball player so he can get over here, and he would hop too, right? He'd hop too.
Yeah,
what are you doing? And so we fought hard to create a culture, and I'm not saying that we did anything to really do that. I just know that it was the kids. We had good kids, and we had good kids that loved basketball, and the core that was just basketball was very small, and it was great to see that it had grown. And I think now it's truly two-sport town. Don't you think it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because that's the thing. When I was playing like freshman, my all 4 years, like there was a big core that was just had such a passion for basketball.
Yeah.
And I think like that's why we were so good was because we all connect. Because there are teams in high school where like guys are just playing because it's basketball's in season.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's a lot of secondary, third sports. You're just playing because you're an athlete and all that. But like we had guys that loved the game, and so just were always playing. And so like that was the mindset. Just going around, going to school, like going to the like your off periods, your free periods during classes, like. All of us are gonna go to the gym. We're gonna be shooting around in our jeans and our street clothes and all that. So it was just that was just the culture, and I think that's why my team, growing up in high school, were so good.
Well, you were so good, and you end up 78-18. And I mean, I'm sure you remember. I declared you the greatest basketball player in Arlington history, and I meant it. As I said, I was on a broadcast a few days ago. I said, "Hey, Phil Barlow may come over and try to chop my head off, but I stand by what I say. I mean, and because when you were somebody that took responsibility on. There's a different. It's a different kind of good, right? Phil Barlow's a kind of good that we were terrible, and he's leading, kind of dragging everyone to the. You're kind of beating the doors down with everybody else. It's like a Braveheart kind of thing, But my question to you is about the last thing about Arlington High. But before you move forward, that postseason, the first game against New Mission is, a legendary game. I mean, that is one of the most electric games I've been to.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But then we move on, and so let's talk the good and the bad. So that game, I mean, you come off that game. They're the defending state champs. I mean, you are ready to go. It doesn't quite work out. You play a tough Brighton team the next round. It doesn't work out. How do you reconcile all that it comes to an end so quickly?
It doesn't hit you right away. Definitely.
Okay.
Because you're in the heat of the battle and you're not expecting your career to be over.
Right.
So, I mean, we were a couple made shots, a couple rebounds away from winning that game. We were. I don't even want to look at the rebounding stats of that game. We were out rebounded like crazy. But if you think about it, there was a couple minutes left in the game. We were down 3, and we had one guy on our team have an open 3 to tie.
Yes. The Joseph in the corner. I mean,
it's like crunch time. So
they were losing that game. Yeah.
It's like it's just a couple plays here and there that you could just nitpick. There's so many things I could go back. My coach gave me like the film of the game. I still haven't watched it yet, but he gave me the disc and all that.
No, don't do that.
But yeah, I mean, it's just something that when it after the game, it's cool to look back on your whole career, right? It stinks. I mean, like.
So in the moment, were you able to at least have a little bit of perspective?
Yeah, when you're sitting in the locker room and it's silent, before the coaches come in, the coaches put their 2 cents in.
Yeah.
And you just sit there before you get dressed back up to get on the bus. You just think about the career you had, the team, all the players you're gonna miss, all the relationships you made, and all that stuff. So I mean,
bittersweet.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. It's definitely bittersweet.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, I don't regret anything, any decisions I made, anything to do with my career. So.
Well, I was pretty sure that was kind of I wanted to have that perspective because 78-18, if it's about the end result, right? If what you were all doing was all about the end result, meaning that game right there, we didn't win that game, and you crumble into a mess, then you didn't get it. Then you didn't get what we were trying to do here. I mean, because just as you said, hey, it's a couple of made shots here. A ball bounces one way or another. It's one. If you're going to judge yourself or your season by one small little pocket, that's just my thought. That you didn't get what we were trying to do here. Now, I'm not saying you should be devastated, upset, but you didn't crumble, and that's I think the important thing.
Yeah, I mean, and also that season, I mean, I know that game was a tough one because I mean, if we beat them, I mean, we had good matchups moving forward and stuff. That was one of the toughest teams that I was a part of.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, we had some killers on the court. But like looking back on, I mean, we were 21-2. We were 16-0 undefeated Middlesex League champions. Yeah. I mean, we had 2 losses throughout the whole year.
How many did you win in a row, Middlesex League? Did you ever you left with the streak intact, right? Was it when you left? It was like 38, something like that.
Regular season streak was something crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, I remember. We had some wild streak. We had like the streak, but then I lost my junior year in the playoffs at home against Malton Catholic.
Right, and that was 42, I believe. Yeah, but 42 game win.
Yeah,
42
yeah, we didn't lose much at home.
It's a good conference too.
Yeah, I mean that's because we like consistently would have a great fan section. Like our fans would show up. I mean, ever since I was a freshman, we had a lot of fans at the games. That was the best. The best part of the tournament games. You know, there's nothing like high school tournament games. You know, there's still not like it's just electric. The whole school shows up and it's crazy. You just feel like the whole town's there. You know what I mean?
I do, and you know it's those. I saw it happen in Winchester, not quite to the degree it happened. You know, they had the success you guys had, but I have one memory that was similar. It was Belmont, and it was when. Karate played bowler. I mean, Barlow. I mean, that was locally. That's a big game, right? You know,
I bet.
I mean, when there's both seniors, that's like, wow. Okay, here we go. And you know, to be a part of that. I mean, I remember walking out of the arena with my wife and going, well, I can't believe I was part of that. You know, and you know, when you get into, you know, you don't know that you're not expected to have those moments and in Arlington, it's a little extra special. It's a community. It's a community. You know, they really back the athletics.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 100%. I mean, if you just look at it now, John Bowler's the athletic director. Yeah. So I mean, the athletics are only going to go up from here. Yeah. I know he's going to take great care of that, and definitely going to, you know, raise the competitiveness.
Absolutely.
All of the programs at Arlington High.
Yeah, and you know we could talk for days and days about Woods and Bowler and how their basketball guys, the impact they have. You know, it's just been it's been phenomenal.
Definitely.
And so we move on, and now you're fortunate enough to be recruited by WPI. WPI wants you to come and play basketball there. That's a great program. You know, I mean, that goes all the way back to. Antoine Coleman, old GVL player, I was tight with. You know, went up there, set records. You know, great coach. Great coaching staff. Now, but it's the one thing that I don't think the players in this area have a full appreciation of. I don't think they ever have, and that is how good these Division III teams are. And how good you have to be to participate on them, because for years I've seen people, oh hey, what are you doing next year? Oh, you know, I'm going to MIT. I'm going to play in the MIT team. You know, whoa, you know, oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. You know, yeah, I guess. You know, it's just not celebrated like it should be. Definitely. But you know, this is strong basketball with men. And so you go there, you know, did you have that understanding before you attend?
I'm not sure. I mean, I remember I went up there for an overnight visit and I saw them playing pickup, and I thought to myself, like, oh, these guys, there's nothing flashy about them. Like, oh, you know, if I were out there, I thought I'd be killing these guys. Yeah. But then you realize that, I mean, like college basketball in general, it's not flashy. You can't really be flashy, right?
Right.
So that's not what makes it great. You know what I mean? You have to.
You can't.
You have to be great with a small amount of dribbles, like in quick spaces, very efficient. It's just a way faster game, and you have to learn a whole lot more. There's a huge learning transition between high school basketball to college basketball, and that probably goes for every college sport.
Well, for start, you bring the ball over the knees. It is gone. They are taking the ball away from you. Players understand that. That's a great way to frame it. About that, you can't be fancy. Be fancy. What am I going to do? I bring the ball up over my knee. I got a dude that's laying the ball on the other end. So you go there and you think. That's what I would have thought exactly. Yeah, there's nothing fancy about this. Okay. So you get out there, and now when is it that you realize, like, oh, this is going to be tough? Is it the first day?
I realize is, I think I opened up in training camp playing pretty well, but I think it got to the point when they started to figure me out was that because I always like would think about like I wouldn't think about the first defender guarding me. I'd think about the guy at the rim because I feel like, oh, I'm gonna get by the first guy, right? And I'm gonna get to the rim. But the thing you don't realize is that there's help defense everywhere on the court. So you can't if you get by the first guy, you won't be able to get through the first guy because there's gonna be a guy right at the elbow. Right. You know what I mean? As the nail help, and then if you get through there, then you got the guy stepping up for a charge. I mean, I didn't have, like, I probably got like 2 charges called on me in high school. So it was just like something like I'd be jumping up to pass like every other play and I'd be getting charge, turnover. So it's just like, it's learning curves like that, small things like that.
Steep.
Yeah, and like and when you get rid of those bad habits that you didn't even realize you had.
Yes.
Like that's when you start to transition to a real college basketball player. And that's like troubles that I had with like I in going into a WPI program, you have a short leash as a freshman. Like you need to get like trust isn't given. You know what I mean? You have to be trustworthy. You can't. Trust is definitely earned. So, I mean, I didn't earn my trust. I think that's a big reason why I didn't play. Initially, was because, I mean, I kind of stuck with a lot of the same habits I had, thinking one big crossover this way and I'm to the rim. But no, I mean, it has to be compact. You have to pick your spots more. You can't just be like, I don't have the ball. Instead of calling a play, I'm just gonna do my thing, right? So it's very pick your spots. But
that's not I wouldn't because I know there's players that are kind of in the junior senior range that are probably looking at you and saying, okay, well how did he do it? But that's natural, right? I mean that got you. Whatever that was, that got you a long way, right? Yeah, why you're not going to just abandon that, and you shouldn't, because there's going to be stuff that you're going to keep with that. It's about taking what you had and making it into what they need.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think you need to embrace the role that you're given, right? Initially, right. I think a lot of people don't accept that.
No.
Take that very well. They think, if you're a scorer, you're 1,000+ point scorer out of high school, that you're going to be just the same score in college, right? And if your role changes and you're not taking 10, 15 shots a game, then you don't know, you can't even play, right? So it's like a lot of people have a tough time transitioning from that, but I think...
Well, the senior, the juniors and seniors, those are men.
Oh, yeah.
Those are men, right? This is how I frame it, sometimes with people who think about recruiting. Think about this recruiting. A junior in high school being recruited, they're projecting... Not 4 years. That's 6 years. They're projecting what they're going to be seniors. Yeah. That's a lifetime away. No, and those are men.
I know. The physicality's on a whole different
Oh
level.
My God.
Right. The guys that are in the paint aren't your 6-foot centers anymore, right?
Right.
You got beasts down there.
Yeah.
And then in order to be like a college guard, you have to have something to you that'll be able to hit shots in the paint, right? You have to have some different type of game other than go try and jump over a 6-foot center, right? Unless you have that crazy athleticism, you gotta be able to float over. You gotta be able to be like creative, right? Okay. Your creativity has to bump up. But like I think what you were saying, like when coaches are recruiting people and trying to envision them 6 years down the road,
right? I
think a lot of it goes into, is this guy gonna work? Yeah, is he a worker? Yeah, I mean, so I mean, it's one thing to have potential, but you need to to fill it up. You need to live up to it, right? You need to get better. It's one thing you have potential, but then when a couple years go by and you still have potential, it's not potential.
It's not potential, right?
Yeah.
It's bad habits.
yeah. So I think it just work. Work is like that's a habit that you need.
Yeah.
It just needs to be ingrained in you. Just consistent energy and level of hard work.
Well, that's another thing that I've noticed, kind of in the recruiting angle in the last 15 years. The level, so everyone's getting better, right? And one thing that almost gets completely ignored: these coaches are getting better, right?
Yeah.
They're not sitting there twiddling their thumbs in the off season. They're learning. They're sharing ideas. They're getting better. And so I mean, when I look now, the baseline level of these, just what you said about someone willing to do the work.
Yeah.
If they look at, if they're recruiting a dude and they go to the game and the dude, and there's a bad call and somebody turns around and rumbles at a ref. What do I need this for? Somebody that's going to be antagonistic. They're not taking any of that kind of behavior. They want people who are willing to work as a baseline.
Definitely.
Whereas in 15 years ago, it was like if you found someone who wanted to work, like, hey, yeah, we did it. That's kind of like don't you think that's the base level now?
Definitely. I mean, there's definitely though a lot of kids who I think work, but there's levels to work.
Oh
hard,
yes,
right. There's levels to it. There are guys. You can tell. There's definitely tiers. Like, I mean, you'll have by the end of the year, you'll have your whatever your league all stars, your league accolades. Have your league champions and stuff, and you can play the blame game all you want, but at the end of the day, the hardest workers are the ones that are winning everything. The people that put in the most work over the summer, that actually put the most energy into their craft, are definitely the ones that are paying off. And because you can't cheat it. You can't cheat it. There's no secret formula for becoming the best player in the league, or the secret formula to winning a league title or something. There's no other answer other than working hard. Yeah. But I think you also need to be strategic with it. You can work hard, but be blind, right? You can work hard and have the wrong map. You know what I mean? Like if you have a map to the hidden treasure, but it's the wrong one.
Right. So give me maybe an example.
For example, if you're doing shooting drills and you're shooting with the same terrible form, but you're working your butt off at it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's work hard, but strategic.
Right.
So fix the form.
Right.
Get it down.
Right.
And then slowly progress until you can start doing these drills full speed with your
practice to make perfect. Yeah. Perfect practice makes perfect.
Exactly.
That's great. So what I wanted to but I did want to just touch on the one thing we didn't. So when you first came in at WPI with all those challenges, the success didn't rush to you. I know you got DNP CDs, and talk to me a little bit about what it was like during the stretch where. Because remember, you're coming off 78 and 18. You're coming off. Things are not. They're not coming easy, but they're coming, right? Mm-hmm. When you show up, they come as long as you work hard. And so now you're tell me about what the mental state is like and how you break out and how you break through the other side.
Yeah, it was definitely a bummer. I didn't want to have to go through again, sitting on the bench after having to go through it as being a freshman on varsity and then a sophomore again and not really getting the minutes I wanted. And then really showing out junior and senior year, I thought, I'm not going back to that, right? So, and then when the same thing happens again, it tests your mental toughness.
Yeah.
It tests it big time, and it's like things that you really need to go through as a player, though, I think, because it's like, how are you going to respond?
Right.
It's like adversity. How are you going to respond to that? That's what makes you a lot greater of a player. And when I got recruited, I wasn't heavily recruited in the D3 level, but I was luckily recruited by WPI, and when I got there, I was like, oh, okay, awesome. I'm a guard. We got the senior guard graduating the next year, so I'm good. And I get to campus, and there are 3 other freshman guards walking in with me, right? And my roommates are the same guards I'm going to be competing for minutes
hungry
with,
and
right?
good.
Yeah, I'd be like, if I lose my spot, I might not play all 4 years because these guys are in my class. So, I mean, going back on it,
that's pressure.
Like, it's definitely a lot of pressure. It's pressure if you make it pressure. If you don't put it on yourself, and you just, that's the thing. You can't. You got to control the controllables, right? So you just gotta just do your own work and don't worry about what they do. Right? So don't be like, oh, geez, this guy's shooting shots. He looks good. He's scoring. He's winning games. He looks really good. Just worry about yourself, right? Do what you can do. Do what you can control to make the team better, right? Because if you just do what you can to make the team better, then everything's gonna fall into place. If you work hard and you do what the coach tells you, right, and you're learning the system. Right, you're not doing anything too crazy, too out of control, but you're playing your game and staying solid.
Yeah,
I think everything will pave its way for you. But like, it was tough going through not playing. It was definitely tough. I mean, I had times where I think I'd be like, oh, geez, is this the right place for me?
Right.
You know what I mean? You go through it and transitioning from a coach like John Bowler, who's a lot more laid back, to Chris Bartley, who's a lot more tougher. You need to be really tough to play for him. But it was a tough transition. But everybody at WPAC goes through that, right? I talk to the seniors and they tell me just stick with it, Like, you're good. Like, you're gonna come through. You're gonna come through for us when we need it, right? So that was great reinforcement.
Yes,
that's what leaders do. You know what I mean? So those seniors at WPAC were definitely helping me through that, and.
Now, another angle that I we were talking off the air, and I was saying that I felt for you because I live in the community, right? And you hear people, there's people talking, and it wasn't like everybody's obsessed, but people would talk. I just I wonder if Colin's playing them, and so my question to you about did were mom and dad like that? I mean, did they struggle to understand how hard it was? I mean, did you have anyone that you could kind of lean on from back home, or were you like, I got to figure this out on my own here?
Well, I think I'd be talking to my dad. Right? I'd be calling him, or he'd be calling me, just asking how I'm doing, how's school and everything. He'd be like, oh, I saw the game, and I'd call and be like, yeah, it sucks. Like, I'm not playing. Like, I know I can play with these guys, and all he'd say, just keep working.
Good.
Just keep working.
Okay.
Just keep working. Put your foot down, just keep working.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, don't give up, don't sulk, don't, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't play one game, it's okay. Like, my dad's like, I trust the coach.
Yes.
You didn't come here, we didn't just throw you into this school, throw you into this program. Like, I believe in this guy. Like, just keep working, and
that's huge.
You'll get your shot. And so that, like, just to know that my dad says that. I mean, like, that's what I've always been taught. Just keep working. I've never been one to just complain to coaches, like, why aren't I playing? It's like, sometimes, like, I might have asked my coach here and there, but, like, it was never, like, in a vulgar way. It was like, why am I not playing? How can I play? How can I get better to play?
You did do that. Did you do that freshman year?
Yeah, I asked. I mean, there's a lot of, the coach did a good job, like, because, I mean, we went through a couple rough stretches as a team, losing a couple tough games. So we'd have individual meetings talking about what your role is and, like, what you need to do, what we need you to do. And so that makes things a lot more clear for you. Right? So if it puts it in perspective, like, that's why I'm not playing. If I'm not doing what you want me to do, then why would I expect myself to play, right? But I think a lot of why I struggled to get minutes going into that year was, I think it was a lot to do with confidence. And it had a lot to do with fear of failure, right? So going on to the court, you don't, like, I think about I just think about negatives, right? Like,
don't screw up.
Don't turn it over. Instead of like
run the play.
Why would I turn it over? You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna get the assist. It's like, it's like instead of thinking in positive manner, it's you're thinking about negatives, which I think is because I think I had the abilities as a freshman to play like every game, right? To start every game, right?
Yeah.
I'd always think that, and looking back, and I still think that, but I think it's just my mentality isn't where it's at now.
Right.
Right. I think I've become a lot more mature mentally in basketball than I have, and I can take that back to freshman year of high school. I think the same thing. Like, I think it's a lot mentally where if you think, oh, I really hope I just whatever you do, don't do this. That's like the wrong mindset. That's the wrong mindset. You have to have you can't fear failure.
Yeah.
If you fail, if you do something, you screw it up, just next play.
There we go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just next play. You can't play your game with the fear of doing something wrong because it's inevitably going to happen.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that's where I have my most troubles, just having a fear of failure, and then when I stopped having that, that's when I started playing well and got more minutes.
And then it's like snowball effect.
Yeah.
Now, when was the moment? When was there a moment where, we saw the big shot against what was that?
MIT.
That was MIT, right?
Yeah.
There's the big shot at MIT, but was there a moment where, and not in a way that you said I don't have to work anymore, but a moment where you're like, yeah, okay, I can do this, and did it happen in a practice or a game, or was it? Do you remember like a moment like I think I can do this, I can do, and because I know you were confident that you could, but I mean when it actually happened, like wow, okay, I can do this, There's one thing to envision it, right?
Yeah.
There's another thing to do it.
I think it was just coming off of my broken hand. I broke my hand midway through my sophomore year, and then
Right or left?
My right hand.
Wow.
Yeah. I had a fracture right in my third. I forget what bone it's called.
Metatarsal.
Yeah, third metatarsal, and
P degree.
Yeah. So coming in, and it's a lot different playing out of league games and in league. It's just a whole different.
Yeah.
It just like the level of play just elevated because the players a lot better in league. So it's like
it's a war.
Yeah, it's a lot more intense. So I hadn't played in a couple league games to start the league play, which was in the middle of the season. And then when I came back, it took me a game to get back, and then we had like a couple guys were down, and then I forget which game, but I think I really emerged. I was playing my game. I wasn't thinking about. I was just doing everything freely, and it felt like high school. Like I wasn't thinking twice about making plays. Right. I wasn't like, oh Jesus, he's gonna take me out if I do this. Right. It was just like I'm doing my own thing. Right. But I'm playing within the game with the team. Right. I'm not like
no. Right.
But like I'm in the flow. I'm doing my thing, and that's when I realized I was like, all right, what am I fit in, and if I don't fit in, then I'm better. I'm better than these guys, right?
Right.
So, and like I think I had that mindset freshman year, but like.
But that's when it really came together.
Well, yeah, it really came together sophomore year when like in the off season, but then getting hurt, it kind of kills you. You see your team's doing well and all that, and you come back, you really want to show them that like, all right, it's not that you didn't need me, right, when you're on your win streak. Like, you want to
help.
Yeah, you want to come back, you want to help, you want to show them that I'm going to make us even better.
Right.
And so that was a
huge competitor.
Yeah, and so that was a huge confidence boost.
Yeah.
And then, that definitely helped. And then I ended up refracturing the same hand.
Wow.
Late in the year, but then when I came back,
did it help your left?
Well, yeah. I mean, I just only work out with my left hand, right? So my left hand got a lot better.
You only left a little better.
Yeah, no, I know. So my left handle was getting a lot better, so I had to boost my confidence up even more.
Yeah.
But then when I got back, it was around the tournament time, and so like I knew I could do the same exact thing that I did before I got hurt. You know what I mean? So
how far did you go this year?
This year we lost in the league championship game.
to
Coast Guard.
Those rough, tough guys. I don't know if you know, my best friend was he's still the all-time blocks leader there, Jason Golden.
Really?
That was my best friend in high school, he was 6'7", but he was 6'7" and 190.
Wow.
Yeah, and he would the only games I went to were the Coast Guard games. Because they would beat the hell out of him. And I just thought it was the funniest thing. He's like behemoth, these 6'2" behemoths that come out and just chop him in half. And I think I make fun of him. Wow. Hey, you did a great job against those Coast Guard guys, huh? You know?
That's unreal.
I mean, his junior year, speaking of broken hand, he broke his hand his junior year, he was like averaging 28 and 10. He was shooting 90% from the line, 70% from the field. I digress.
Jeez.
Yes.
That's
But
crazy.
anyway. So tell me a little bit about. So I noticed More Than Different. Tell me about how that came to pass.
So I mean, I was working an internship basically this past summer, right? And you know how internships go. You kind of get off track. You get done with your work. You might sidetrack. It gets a little boring.
Yeah.
It's not the internship that I really loved and that I want to move forward with. So I was getting bored. I was doodling on my little notepad stuff. I'm like, I see all these, I want to do something creative, something different, basically, right? And so I'm doing. I'm like, this would be cool if because I always growing up, my mom was an artist and stuff, so I'd always be drawing and doodling and stuff. So I'd always be somewhat artistic. And then I started drawing designs. It would be cool if I had something that I could wear that would symbolize kind of who I am, or what I stand for and stuff like that. And so I started doodling and I told my brother, I called him up, I was like, yo, Brendan, I just thought this idea, we should start a brand, we should start a clothing brand and have some meaning to it about who we are. And he's like, yeah. So we got home, we started, brainstorming and stuff, and came up with designs. Yeah. And so we had some goofy names. I forget what the names were, but then we ended up coming up with More Than Different.
Yep.
And then so we had a whole meaning behind it. So basically, it's
tell me a little about the meaning. I mean, because when we've gotten to know you here, obviously we've gotten deep. But tell us about the meaning?
Yeah, so it's definitely has a lot to do with. So the idea of More Than Different, it has a lot to do with kind of embracing yourself and who you are.
Yep.
Because in this day and age, I feel like a lot of people cling to things that are trendy. You know what I mean? Things that are popular, things that like people that are alike each other, right?
Yep.
So similarities, and so I kind of wanted to stress and push forward embracing who you are, where you came from, even though if it strays away from the norm, right? And kind of and just emphasize that and celebrate that, right?
Right.
And we have this kind of little phrase on our website, and it's called it's not just a label, it's a lifestyle. More Than Different. So also with the brand, we have the lifestyle aspect of it is that just no matter what the standard of the society is, just chase your dreams, follow your vision, right? Chase your goals and do it in an unselfish manner, do it to the best of your abilities and don't care what the society thinks about that. You know what I mean? Be more than different. It's okay to be more than different rather than be just like everybody else. Everybody can look at you right now and be like, oh, he's weird, he's doing this. But then in the long run, it's going to pay off. And people are going to look back like, oh, now I'm trending, but back then I was More Than Different.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
right.
It's just kind of that attitude and mentality that I think, is More Than Different in a way.
Yeah. So, I think I followed the brand. I kind of got a flavor of it, and I'm really glad you were able to kind of clarify that. But it really kind of matches with what I'm doing at Sports A to Z. Literally So you look at me. I maybe my life wasn't going. Maybe I wasn't more than different, right? For a long time, I was part of that. Just the kind of machinery. I go here because this is where they kind of tell me to go, and if I don't like it, maybe I blame other people, right? That's his fault, or her fault, because I'm not where I want to be. Well, if you want to be happy, you got to take responsibility for yourself and be true to yourself, and what do you want to do? And just it really comes all together with what you were talking about before, which is not having a fear of failure. Okay, so what okay, this doesn't work. I'm doing a broadcast now, and then all right, we'll find something else to do. We'll try something else here. I'll do but make sure I'm doing what I want to do, and being true to myself. And I think I think it's a wonderful message, and that's what I believe in.
Awesome, yeah, and that's the thing. I think a lot of people. I think it also applies more different. I think like a lot of people like want to have no fear of failure. Like, I feel like a lot of people want to have that aspect to themselves that I'm gonna try this stuff because I don't care if I fail or not.
Right.
I think that's a big aspect. That's like a big attribute to have and skill to have towards achieving success.
Right.
And in your own definition. But like I think if you don't have that, then I don't think you're gonna get very far in what you do if you don't fear of failing. Because otherwise, you're not gonna get out of your comfort zone. You're not gonna try new things and stuff that's going to get you. Because if you do the same thing every day, how are you going to be different from who you are today,
right?
Tomorrow, the next day, right? So you need to get out of your comfort zone and stop being afraid of failure, right? Because what's the worst thing that's going to happen,
Well, and I'd argue the worst thing that's going to happen is if you don't try at all, right? Hey, I might want to try this. Well, I don't know if I might fail, and I don't try it, right? And then I go along doing something that the biggest failure is regret.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't try. When you're 90 years old, or well, hopefully we get to 90 or whatever, and we're wrapping things up. You're not going to think about what you did and failed. You're going to think about what you didn't do.
I know. Seriously.
So, So where can I just like the brand. I like it. I like the look, right? I like the look a lot. Definitely. So where can we where can people get the merchandise, the merch?
Yeah. So we have a website called mtdlifestyle.com, right? So we just started a website probably this last October, I think 2019. So we just founded it this past summer around July, and then we just kind of kickstarted it and got it going from there. It's slow. It was slow start because as soon as we started it, I went to college. My brother went to prep school. Yeah,
she wonder why.
So it was like it was kind of hectic at first, but it was helpful and it was helpful in the sense that I kind of had to start balancing my life a lot more, right?
Yeah.
Classes, hoops, and the company, like building a brand. So it definitely helped build my skills a lot more. But yeah, like I was saying, so you can go to the website MTD.
Say it again. What is it?
mtdlifestyle.com.
mtdlifestyle.com.
Yeah.
mtdlifestyle.com. There you go.
Yeah, and
look, what are we gonna find at mtdlifestyle.com?
You're gonna find all the merchandise.
Okay.
Right? You're gonna find about us section.
All right.
Which needs to be updated. We haven't edited that in a while.
Okay, we don't need to point out negatives here. Look good to me.
and then we have a blog section which we're trying to add more blogs. Our goal moving forward is trying to do interviews with people who we feel are more than different.
There you go.
We think we want to start implementing that. I have my sister just got a college. She's a great writer and stuff. My brother loves writing, and I gotta get better at it. So
let's write that copy, baby. Let's go. So your sister graduated from
Amherst.
She had a great career at Amherst.
Yeah.
Right. Tell me about that.
I mean, 2-time national champion one undefeated season.
That's a tough dinner table to eat at.
Nah, it is. I don't bring much compared to her to the table. I mean,
no, you don't.
Crazy. It's
You know,
crazy.
hey, how did you do today, Colin? You know,
Yeah.
Did you score a few points there? Did you
Yeah.
win the game? Good for you.
I know. So walk down the dinner table with 2 rings on and stuff. Crazy.
I can't hear you. I got chip rings plugging my ears.
I know. No, it's a tough table to eat at. My dad's got a state championship ring.
Who's got a state championship ring?
My dad, he's got an old one from baseball.
Which one? Matnon? He won chip at Matnon?
State championship.
What a tough dinner table.
Tough dinner table, yeah.
Jeez Louise.
I know, it's tough. I haven't brought much to the table yet. I'm looking to get...
Well, now I see where more of the difference coming from.
No,
I gotta break out here. I gotta show you what I made them.
So, I'm looking... all I'm saying, I'm looking for a new MAC championship. That's the goal.
Okay. 0-3
league, 0-3 in the championship.
Oh, that's tough. I mean, because
heartbreaking. Man.
Well, the thing is, I mean, so this is what the people. This is what I as I said, I couldn't have more respect for the that level of basketball. Well, those leagues are a meat grinder. Everybody knows each other, and they're playing. So the coaches know each other, right? I know what he's gonna do, what she's gonna, what's gonna happen out there, and when. So what else is there to, there's not a lot of benchmarks for success, right? Championships, right? You don't have, I don't know if you have many, you have preseason tournaments?
Well, yeah, we have a couple local, like, we have a Ted Coughlin tournament, which WPI hosts and
That's
stuff.
good, okay.
We had a holiday tournament over at UMass Boston that we won, which was cool.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we won it. It was like a Thanksgiving tournament or something that we won in the beginning of the season, which is pretty cool. That's great,
But so I really didn't realize that because I'm getting old. back when I had friends that were playing. There weren't many, but there's still really sure there's just not. That's the tournament. Yeah. There's a lot of dudes with the same goal. Yeah. That's gonna be tough to do. No. You get you get down to the when the rubber hits the road at the end. Those dudes are dying to win those games.
No, I know, and it's tough. I mean, it's a grind too. When you get to the end of the season and you're playing in your league championship game, I mean, you're 26, 27, 28 games in, right? and you're practicing 100%.
100%
every day. I mean, 6 days a week, every week for 3-4 months, right? So it takes a toll on your body, and like by the end of the season, it just comes down to who wants it more.
100%.
Right? Who wants it more, and I've wanted it so bad, but I mean, I've come up short 3 times, so I'm 0 for 3. I mean, we just had a heartbreaking loss. We just had a 24-point lead at halftime against Coast Guard, so we lost that one. And
wow.
I mean, and my coach said it perfectly. Just like the adversity that you face, it's like it's good to have because it's all about what you do with it, right? It's like when you're given lemons, you can make lemonade, right? Mm-hmm. So this adversity, it's all about how you react to it and what you do with it. Because I think Tony Bennett had a great quote about it. I forget the quote, but it was after they lost their 1-16 matchup in the NCAA tournament. They came back the next year and they won the national championship.
It's right.
So I mean, we're trying to do something just like that.
Right.
This coming year, my last year playing college basketball. So I mean, I'm leaving it all out on the court, leaving it all on the table. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna be bringing something to the dinner table.
Right. Wow. You gotta really be more than different to that dinner table. Holy cow. Well, I think I doubt you'll have any regrets. I don't know. I don't know the future. I don't know if you'll be able to win that championship, but I know you got my attention. I'll be checking out those games next year. Definitely. And the website again.
Yeah, mtdlifestyle.com. And then if you're near the Arlington area in the surrounding towns, you can also direct message us on our Instagram, MTD the Movement, for merchandise for free shipping. Because I mean, if you're
shipping,
yeah,
wow.
If you're close and around the area, it's easier to just direct message us your orders so you don't have to go through the shipping process because we can just drive right to your house.
Yeah, there you go. Portal to portal service. Wow.
Yeah,
that's more than different. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
And so, along those lines, I'm not more than different when it comes to making clothes. But we got our new T-shirt made. So this isn't more than different. But this is for you, my buddy. So this is the debut of the big T-shirt. This is my dipping my toe into the
That's awesome.
the clothing business, which is not my forte.
Wow.
So
I like it though. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, well, it's a
nah, it's cool.
It's a $2 shirt.
Design's cool,
it's actually it's not a very expensive shirt. That's pretty good material, isn't it?
No, it is.
Yeah.
It's nice. Cotton, man.
Yeah, right.
I like it. I'm impressed.
Right, there you go. I tell you, those people in India do a nice job there. That's the way I got them. I don't know what to tell you. So
appreciate that.
There you go. So I really love the More Than Different brand. I love what you bring to the table. I'm thankful that you share with us. This is exactly what I'm interested in, what I think other players are interested in. And if not, well, who knows, right? I'll do something else.
No worries,
but thanks a lot, Colin, for coming by. We gotta, maybe we can do some things in the future. Talk to your brother sometime.
Definitely.
Heck, maybe we can forget you get your sister down here. Holy cow! 2 national championships.
We'll get the whole thing.
Yeah, there you go.
It's crazy.
We'll get everybody down here. It will be more than different. The website again one more time is, I don't know how I've wwritten down. Social Pro.
MTD Lifestyle.
There you go. MTDlifestyle.com. MTDlifestyle.com.
Get your merch.
Get your merch. All right. So that's going to do it for us tonight on Sports A to Z Live. We'll be back to try it again tomorrow night. Bing, bang, boom.
You turn it off.
I'm going to.